This is a moment for stewardship. I wanted to share some thoughts about our stewardship campaign, our future, and how it connects with reading the Sailboat Church and the discernment process with Reverend Rose Niles. So the second time we met with her, if you remember, we reviewed our financial situation, and we came up with a few options of where we see ourselves in the future. The first one was that we age in place, kind of fade with dignity. The second one was the yoked ministry. Merge really is the old word that we were using for it, where we would keep our identity, our session, but we would be sharing a full-time pastor with another congregation. This requires little financial energy, but high or medium spiritual energy. The third option was that we reinvent ourselves. We are a church that lavishes hospitality on those who come through our doors. We love and care and pray for each other. But in reinventing ourselves, we would also be a church that does the same for our neighbors. And the last one that we didn't really fully consider was sort of death and restart, as in we would close church on the mall, but reopen as a whole new thing, maybe with new people, the 1001 new worship congregation option. So, we're involved in the Code Blue shelter, and we have had our sanctuary used several times in the past month already. I guess several times in November, already in December, and I guess we will continue to be used many times over the next few months. We also have another potential opportunity of renting out our space to an after-school education program. Over the years, we've almost at every meeting where we talk about our future, we look into our past and we talk about how wonderful it was when we had children in our church. Well, so it looks like this is an opportunity God is sending our way, maybe an answer to our dreams and prayers. So it seems God's sending us many opportunities to be a good neighbor. I see this as part of the Holy Spirit moving in our church, a chance to walk the talk, if you will. Do you think this is the case? I know as a congregation we want to be a source of love and comfort for our neighbors in need. That does require resources, both of time and money. So this brings us to our stewardship campaign. We are at, as of, I guess, late last week, 41,950 of our 95,000 goal. Thank you for all of those who have pledged. I am reminded that all we have is a gift from God, and all God asks is that we trust him with 10% to see how he can surprise us. What we have learned over the years is that people are generous beyond the actual pledge amount that they give us, but they share with us. But they don't want to be bound to an amount in the actual form of pledging. This, though, creates a budgetary dilemma. We are not able to plan for the future without a rough estimate of our income. One thing you need to know is that pledges are not legal contracts. We don't bill people if you miss a month. Instead, think of your pledge as a financial love letter to the church, one that enables us to have a balanced budget. We, of course, understand that if your circumstances change, your pledge will also change, maybe even for the better, but possibly for the worse. It is a way of living in a covenant community. As Americans, we talk freely about all sorts of things, love, sex, in-laws, but money is off the table, right? So this is a not so easy part of what I want to say. Yeah, as I said, we haven't even reached 50% of our giving goal for next year, so we really can't plan functionally for the next year. So going back to those options that we came up with Dr. Niles, so the age in place fade with dignity option, this really wouldn't take much change as long as we would keep going as long as we had members and money, right? Until we don't. The yoked ministry, we will be sharing a full-time pastor with another congregation. This has implications in that Pastor Alex will be part-time if he chooses to stay in that option, and we would lose 50% of his tithe, as well as, more importantly, his ideas, his energy, his ability to write grants. And if we reinvent ourselves, we oh, I'm going back to the wrong. I lost my place here somewhere. Oh, so reinventing is that we would be the church that lavishes hospitality, not just on our members, but on our community and our neighbors. And that does take time and resources, right? And the last one is the reopening as a 1001 congregation, new congregation, which is, I looked at the Presbyterian Mission website, and it says it is focused on igniting and supporting flourishing new faith communities in every context. It's something that may be possible in the future for us, right? I don't know if you remember when Timothy used to go to Conshohocken, and he would meet people in a bar or in a restaurant, and so that was part of that 1001. We were trying it out. I mean, clearly it wasn't that successful, but maybe this is something for our future. So let's get to the money part. You have this additional piece in your bulletin. So the first part is to look at this graph, which is a step graph. It shows our giving patterns as a church. And with each of those steps and the numbers you see, that's the number of people who have pledged for this year so far. It shows our giving patterns as a church. And these pledges are sort of divided into weekly giving, showing where we fall on the staircase. So far, 15 members have pledged. Pastor Alex falls on the top 3 of the graph, as he shares his desire to model giving a tithe of his salary, 10%, believing in the ministry that we are doing together. But this graph also underlines what the Presbyterian Foundation report showed, that a small percentage of people are in the upper half of giving. This is not a sustainable model for us. Next, if you look at the table, this one on the other side of this sheet, you can see where you are in your giving. And if you look to the right hand of the sheet, you'll see where you would fall if you increased your giving in the upper, middle, lower, or beyond a tithe giving. So you have the actual numbers to calculate and think through what you could give. The invitation today is to think, pray, and discern whether you can grow one step in your pledge. For example, if you're in the 30 to 39 category, giving about $37 a week, it would cost $3 a week to step into to move one step up. So think about it. You know, it's less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, that's for sure. So our gold standard for measuring, right? So anyway, so family of faith, thank you for your support of our ministry, as we and I believe that God is really guiding our sales. It may lead us to unexpected paths, but know that our God is faithful, for we know that with God, all things are possible. Thank you.